Okay, let's move on to another piece of legislation that I don't think got a lot of attention this week in Olympia, but is likely going to affect you, your grandkids, and your great grandkids for years to come, because a bill that is advancing in the legislature would give Sound Transit the ability to issue bonds with not 40-year, 35 or 40-year maturities, but 75-year maturities. This is, if you want to look it up, Senate Bill 6148. And it initially, last year was proposed and asked for the extended bond bill, but it did not advance. But since then, Sound Transit has come out and revealed that their light rail plan is tens of billions of dollars over budget. And the agency also admits that their 2016 presentation to voters, where they said it was going to be a 25-year plan that cannot be implemented with the current debt limits. So they're saying we can't continue with projects as they are. We can't complete current light rail extensions. We can't finish what we've promised if we don't extend these bond obligations out for additional decades. What was interesting as I sat in the Senate wings and watched the debate on the floor on Wednesday, there was a Democrat who is often very progressive on many issues, but she spoke up in objection to the bill. This is Senator Twena Nobles, who's from Fircrest, Pierce County, one of the places that was promised light rail to arrive years ago, and they're still waiting. She was the only Democrat to join every Republican in opposition to the bill. So here is her short floor speech Wednesday.
I consistently hear my constituents say that Sound Transit is overpromising and under-delivering. I, too, want to support Sound Transit. I want to see more transit projects across our state, but in particular in the 28th Legislative District. And I don't know that with what we pay in our RTA, that we are seeing our fair share of projects in the district. So I, too, would be a no vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
So during the initial public hearing on this legislation, in the State Senate Transportation Committee, we had Sound Transit CEO Dow Constantine, former King County executive, now Sound Transit CEO, making it, sound like this is not a big deal. We're just joining a federal program that allows us to extend these bonds out to 75 years. But there was a blog posted this week by Washington Policy Center, which I'm linking to my article on this, that says, okay, wait a minute, you're obligating our grandkids, great grandkids to a debt service here, way beyond what was initially promised. So that's an obvious concern, because all of us here in Washington State know that our car tabs and our power bills and many other things that have a Sound Transit tax attached, it's a fairly significant hit. So I spoke with Senator Phil Fortunato, Republican from Auburn. He told me the bill obligates, as I just mentioned, multiple generations to projects that continue to explode with these lengthy delays in completion. And here's some of that conversation with Senator Fortunato.
Sound Transit has never been on time, ever. And I actually corrected myself. I said they have been on time and on budget, because they keep changing the schedule and keep changing the budget. I go, this is the most expensive mobile homeless camp on the planet. I go, many of us are here where we remember Whoops, the 5 nuclear power plants, which was the largest bond default in state history. This is going to be Whoops on wheels. I go, I said, I was looking forward to going home and telling my constituents, hey, when your grandkids buy their second car, then you'll be able to pay off your car tabs, because the Sound Transit bonds will be paid off. Now, how many generations is this going to be? It's going to be 5 generations before you can get rid of these stupid bonds. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
So I should explain that some of that reference from Senator Fortunato, where he talked about Whoops. If you're like me and well into your 50s or even a little bit younger, and you were here then, you remember the Washington Public Power Supply System, Whoops, was a project in the 1970s that was supposed to build the 5 nuclear power plants here in Washington. And there were massive cost overruns. And it was actually the largest municipal bond default in U.S. history. Only one plant was ever completed before the entire thing was scrapped. So he referenced that, saying he thinks that Sound Transit's going to be the next, or he said whoops on steroids or something like that. So there's some concern about that. But the bill did pass off of the Senate floor Wednesday, with all Republicans joined by that one Democrat I mentioned, Senator Twena Nobles, voting in opposition, and it now moves to the House.